It gives me great pleasure to be here today to celebrate my sister Joanne's inauguration as New York State Assembly member. I've been asked to say a few words about my sister. As many of you already know, we grew up in a modest home in Yonkers, New York, in a working-class neighborhood. It's okay, you should see my daughter. Our parents, Millie and Ed, instilled in us a strong work ethic, a love of God, country, family, and the value of a well-rounded education. Many relatives on both sides of our family were musically talented, so we gained an appreciation for the arts. A bit of a tomboy and not much of a vocalist, Joanne decided to channel her athleticism into the pursuit of ballet as an extracurricular activity. I bet you didn't know that. And when there wasn't enough money for additional lessons, Joanne sewed costumes to offset her tuition. We often wondered years later how someone could be so graceful on stage and manage to step off a curb and pull all the ligaments in her ankle.
Yep.
Joanne was a tough act to follow in high school. Even worse now. It seemed that she hardly had to study to get high grades. She was then, as she is today, an insatiable reader. But even then, Joanne had to buck the system, rolling up the waistband of her uniform skirt, much to the dismay of the nuns. And yes, she did play hooky and skip school to go to a Yankee game once in a while, especially when they were playing Boston.
Woo!
I never did that. I was the good one.
Sure.
Our parents participated in many church and community-based organizations. They led by example. They give us a strong moral compass to guide us, which I believe is at the core of why Joanne pursued a career as an educator of the deaf and eventually a disability civil rights lawyer. Fighting not to give anyone an unfair advantage, but rather to give them an equal chance. I have 2 children, now young adults, with significant learning disabilities. She has advocated for them against their school district, but more importantly, she taught them to advocate for themselves. When Joanne moved to Boerum Hill, she immersed herself in her new community, getting to know her neighbors. Many of them have become lifelong friends. Listening to what their concerns were, she chose to get involved, to make a difference. Over the years, Joanne has worked tirelessly, as many of you have mentioned, taking on the political machine and pushed for reform. She has fought and will continue to fight for the causes she believes in, the causes you believe in. And you have honored her with your trust and sent her to Albany to work for you. You have chosen well. She will do her homework and make informed decisions. There is something to be said for the old adage that good things come to those who wait, but only if you work hard so that you are ready when the opportunity presents itself. Obviously, I'm not used to public speaking. Earlier this month, I had the pleasure of going to Albany on January 12th to see Joanne introduced on the floor of the New York State Assembly, along with the other new members. She was positively beaming. So many of you here today worked to make that moment possible. For that, I say thank you. In closing, I know I speak for the rest of our family when I say, well done, Joanne. Don't shake it off. Shake 'em up.
Before I introduce our last speaker, I'd just like to also acknowledge former District Leader Nancy Wolf, who was District Leader. Our last speaker before we do the swearing in, Charlene Nimitz.